Alright, so this is our second video of our kind of VOD review series. Here we're doing a couple things. We're running through a replay of me playing without aim assist because of the PC controller nerf to linear that's coming out. So just wanted to play around. This is like my third game. But there are also like a couple kind of important lessons when I get later in the fight or later in the game about what not to do and what to do when you're in the middle of kind of intense situations. So this is the first kind of fight, and what ends up happening here is really just kind of worth explaining of like what aim assist does and what it doesn't do. So aim assist doesn't really help you lock on, but what it really does is when you get close to the person, it slows it down in a way or makes it a little sticky. And you can see this in kind of the first fight that I do, in that my crosshair gets there, but then I go right past him, and then he runs away, and it's kind of silly, and then I just kind of naturally figure it out and laser the person. But that's kind of what aim assist does, and that's what we don't know what they're gonna fix or nerf or do something with, whatever your point of view. Foop. Foop. See, you can still hit your shots even if no matter what they do to it. You just kind of get used to you have to get used to it not sticking like it has in the past if they make big tweaks to it. So this upcoming fight, they do a couple things right and a couple things wrong. I don't get the elims here, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm playing with the duo. But the first thing I do really well, I think, is I get height, and then the second thing I do, which is dumb, is I give it up for no apparent reason. Here I am, being a good Fortnite player. Height. Just straight to the left. Take some shots. So, bad enough that I just dropped there. But whatever, still kind of one story above. Bad enough, what did I do? I dropped down on the same story. Now I've gone in underneath their ramp. Like, if either of these two people are paying attention or any good, like, I'm dead. Like, just... It's a dumb series of mistakes. Like, my staying up, keeping distance, using ARs, that kind of stuff is just something I have to learn. Now, I like what I tried to do here. I just executed it really poorly. Like, what I can do is I can either take an edit and reset it immediately so they shoot, and then I get a free shot, or just do a quick window edit with like a right-hand peek to sneak a shot in on somebody, which is really what I should have done. But instead, I do like this big circular edit, and I do get a shot. But right now I'm at like 100, and I end up losing $125 and I don't do nearly as much damage. Like, this just isn't a smart play. Like, either get out or make sure I have a right peek in a window. But like this edit, dumb. And the only reason I bring it up is far too many people, they make edits when people are looking at them with their guns out, and that should be pretty obvious as the thing you don't want to do. But here I am doing it. Like, when people have your guns out, don't edit on them unless you have a right hand peek, and right there I did not. We're gonna zoom forward a little bit. So I do want to pause here for a second, though, because we end up getting this guy, but it is a mistake I make. I put a ramp out and then I do it like a jump low ground tack shot. Aim assist or not, I can still do those. But really, what I should have done is as soon as I hit this ramp, I can just place a cone above me to protect, and then I can edit through the cone, do another ramp, and I basically have the same exact position, just a little bit more protected. Like if this person's again paying attention, I know there's a thing over me to start with, but he could it's an easy free headshot. And then he can place a cone. There's like a bunch of stuff he could do here to stop me. Fortunately, it wasn't a great player, but protect your head when you're going up, as always. Right there. So that's where I could place the cone. I might have even caught him if I placed the cone. And then we basically we do slurpy things for a little while. Catch fish, do that kind of stuff. There we go. Okay, so this is the next couple of kills, or the next couple of elims. One thing I do really well here is I block immediately, right? And I think more and more people, I'm getting better at it, but a lot of people, they get into 50-50s, is in like the 50-50 gunfights where you're both just standing and shooting each other, in places where they don't have to, right? Unless the person is not looking at you, right? They're running away, or you have high ground and they're like looking down. Like you shouldn't really be shooting people face to face. Like it's a bad idea. So here, when I get into this fight, I immediately block, and it allows me to get a super super easy elim. Whereas if I didn't do it, I think he pretty much opens up on me with the SMG. Like the average player right here gets in this fight. Now, granted, I don't know he has 30 health. Like he could have 200. But I'm immediately already blocking, and it saves me from just getting lasered. This next person is just standing out in the open. Potentially a bot, who knows. Then here we continue to do slurpy things. We fish, we mat up, nothing vitally important. Although one random thing that does happen is my friend decides it would be a good idea. See if I can get to this quickly. To build a bunch of boxes on top of each other. Like he's like going for 18. I don't really like understand why. But he's just building a staircase of boxes all the way to this guy. Because that's the thing. Alright, this is interesting. So this is kind of like a duos thing, in that from a communication standpoint, things you can do better. So you can see we're super close to each other, and we hear a helicopter coming, and he takes one route and I take another, and since neither of us talk to each other, I don't realize it until it's too late. Like right there, I assume he's just right to the right of me. And then I look that way and I'm like, whoops. And that could have, this could have ended badly, but it didn't. But it was super easy to save, just being like, hey, stay next to me, I'm going to shoot at this helicopter. Or he could have said, hey, I'm going on the bridge. But over communicate with the duos partner is a long story short. So one thing I do really well here, actually, even if it doesn't have an immediate impact on me getting this person, me knocking this person, is anytime you hear a rocket launcher, right, at all, just immediately build a box. Like, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about like where it's coming from, like the angles where the person is. Just build the box. Like, I'm pretty sure if I don't build that box there, I just get taken out. And here, I still don't know where the person is. Box. Right? It's all you need to do when you hear rockets, right? Just until you can figure out. Now, what's funny is that rocket, I still don't even get the next box up in time, and someone ends up jumping into my box. And what was funny about this is I was saying earlier, I think in the stream, I was like, I don't care, aim assist or not. Like, if you get a box with me and you're gonna get into a 50-50 gunfight, you're gonna lose. Here's an example. um, but I didn't know, like, I didn't know that person landed it until I turn around and I see them. The reason why I'm pausing here, though, other than to joke about 50-50s, is the reason I think I win this fight is because I stay on the ground. I think far too often when people get into shotgun fights um, inside boxes, they jump around because like they're supposed to, I guess. I'm not really sure why. I typically like to stay basically as flat-footed as possible, um, and then I just try to get up against the side of a wall, or basically try to put my gun into the person to where they can't move. And I think that's the only difference between why I win this fight or not. So normally people would complain about aim assist, and this time I don't have any. So, but you'll see, like, he immediately jumps when he goes to take his first shot. I don't. I have a high impact tack shot. That thing repeats. 3 shots later, fight's over. Like, the thing about jumping a lot is you're super predictable. And, maybe if you're really good with your aim, you get it. But, like, 2, especially if you have a good tack shot, like if you have purple or gold, like 2 will take somebody out. Blue, green, 3, maybe 4. I don't think the jumping's worth it. I can crouch, I can strafe, I can do a lot of stuff when I'm on the ground. When I'm jumping, I'm just going straight up and I'm coming straight down, and I know where you're going to land. So this is something I like doing. I like kind of getting above the trees sometimes when I know there's a lot going on and there's a lot of builds and it's going to be hard to knock me down. Because then I can get right here. I can get free AR shots. I can laser the person, and fight's over. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do, is pull out my AR and laser the person when the fight's over. Instead, I make like the most common mistake that I always do, and I drop. There's no reason for it. This fight's over. I think I even have a rocket launcher here, or if I don't, whatever. Use my AR, SMG, end the fight. Stay on high ground. Anytime you're 3 stories above and you see someone like this, just use your AR, use your SMG, whatever gun you have. Do anything but what I'm going to do here. Like, at least I stayed 1 floor above, but like, what was that, like a 14 tack shot? I scuff a build here, and if he was a better player, he immediately gets high ground. He almost gets it. My teammate ends up bailing me out in some ways, but again, when you have high ground, don't drop. Because I was ending up going for a 50-50 tack shot there, because I win them a lot, but it's just dumb. Like, the smart play there was just to shoot him from above. So I like what I did here is then I waited until the fight was over before I picked up anything, right? Like, I could have taken this guy's stuff earlier, but I was like, no, I'm in a fight. And I don't think you should pick up new stuff when you're in the middle of an engagement ever. Like, I don't even really think you should pick up heals, unless you like 100% know you're safe. So this time I waited. The only reason I point that out is I'm going to come into a fight here in a second, and I almost die a couple times because I don't do what I did there, right? Instead of just getting my stuff and getting out, or finishing the fight and then going to get the stuff. I go to get stuff before I finish the fight, and it calls. So back to what I was saying before, like one of the things I'm getting better at is building immediately when someone's facing me. Sometimes the loot gods just treat you kindly and just give you a whole bunch of stuff that lies there for no reason. So right here, now, what happens to a lot of people is they get in this fight and they just start shooting. And sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. Hence the 50-50, because bloom is a big factor. Here I take a quick shot and then I immediately go for height. Like that's the right play. Unlike the previous engagement, this time I kind of learned from my mistakes, and I was like, wait, I'm 2-3 stories above, therefore if I'm 2-3 stories above, I shouldn't be dropping down for shotgun shots. I should be doing something else. I should be using my AR, or I don't know, the rocket launcher I just picked up. Not really sure how that one didn't hit, but that one did. Right, and the only difference there from the previous fight was I kept high ground, right, and that's a difference. That time I took a free 130 damage off the person, and before I did 14 with attack shot, and almost gave them height. This time I dropped down because I thought I knew that was my wall. Was my wall. And aim assist or not, right? That person's that's a hard spot to fight from. Just run into the person, put your attack on them, your SMG, whatever you got, end the fight. I mean, I guess technically the smarter thing I should have done there. Now that I really think about it, is I should have made a window edit here, and I should have shot him through the window, and I should have reset, and I should have done that over and over until he died. So instead of going in here, I should have just taken the shot, reset the wall, done the edit again. Like that was a smarter move, but like this isn't the worst, right? Someone who's not expecting you, you've hit them for potentially a lot earlier with the rocket launcher, like getting in there and finishing the fight. It works. I'm going to take a little bit of damage of it. Actually, now that I think about it, it actually almost really ends up becoming a problem because the second person comes in. He's like, I know what I'll do. My friend just lost in a box fight to that guy. Let me jump in because I think it'll be different this time. I know not everybody's big on finishing people. There's like people think it's toxic. I think you need mats, right? Especially when you're in late game situations and you're potentially on 2-on-1s or 2-on-2s. Like I need the mat refresh. I don't even want the guns. Like that second person came in and was like, "Hey, I'm going to win this fight." And I was like, "No, you're not." So easy 2 kills, but again, the smarter move there would have been doing the quick edit. Really, the only reason why I won that was because we kept high ground. One thing I liked that I did there was as soon as the fight was over, I think I have like a bunch of like orange fish and purple fish, or I don't know, I just have fish. And what I do immediately is I just eat the first one that I see, right? I think a little bit too often we're like, oh wait, did he have minis? Did he have half pots? Or like orange, the floppers, whatever. But like just take the fish that you have. The reason it's important is because I'm going to get lasered here, and if I don't take those 2 fish real quick, I'm dead. Oh. So this is kind of the second to last fight. I mean, it takes a little bit longer, and we're going to go through it pretty quickly because I know it's been a long video so far. But one thing I do here that the whole video, what I've been doing really well is hitting people, and then trying to get height, right? Or hitting people and building. In this instance, I have this guy dead to rights. This ends up being the last person I end up fighting. But what do I do? I just stand there and shoot at him like an idiot. Right there. Floor, ramp, actually build a ramp, fight's over. Instead, whoop, drop. Because you're just not paying attention. Now, fortunately, I drop on this person, and this is one of those, like, knock knock, who's there? Not you anymore. This person just, it's unfortunate. Like, they never saw me. I wasn't fighting that person. You could almost hear his teammate go, he's on me. And he's like, where? And then he was dead. He's like, I thought you said he was on you. So anyways, what I was saying before, though, was I'm a big believer in fighting with weapons that you have. And here you'll see something that happens is that I go to start picking up new stuff. And as soon as I go to start picking up new stuff, it like breaks my mental concentration. I do it twice in this fight, and both times I pay for it. I was like, I was all good. And then I was like, ooh, drum gun. Let's pick up a drum gun. Like, I have like a gold scar, a blue tack, and a gold rocket launcher. Like, what do I need a drum gun for? You can almost see my like brain stop working as my character's like, what do I do? I guess I gotta resort my inventory. So, one thing that actually I do really well here that I've been struggling with for a long time is when someone has that position over you, right? Whether, you're ramping against each other or whatever. Sometimes you can get a cone above them, sometimes you can't. I used to always struggle here is that I try to build boxes, then I'd give up high ground, or I'd try to ramp up the side, and like I'd get hit in the back. The thing you want to do here that I've started doing recently is you want to place a floor, and then you want to do one of those side jumps or cone jumps to basically get it's because you're still going to get the phase through the floor like you would on a 90, and then you can start re-getting height. Right there, that jump to the left. Like, if you can start incorporating that into your game, and I would actually, build ramps that connect into each other, and then kind of keep doing that same cone jump over and over again as a way to practice. Well, we'll just practice doing cone jumps, but I would specifically like run into the ramp and then kind of do it. I'll do that. I do that in creative sometimes. But if you can do it, you can kind of change the nature of a build fight, and it's actually really easy. It's just a little bit of taking time to practice it. Like right there, just doing that cone jump immediately took height. Now, if you were watching the video earlier and you're like, oh, what do you do now? Well, it's obvious. You stay a floor above, you jump, you hit some tack shots, or you flip the ramp and you keep height. I can assure you one thing you don't do, because you've heard me say it a bunch of times, is drop and give up height for no reason. We recovered, but because we didn't just take advantage of it, this person is going to go from the 30 health that I had to 100 in a heartbeat. Now, this is the dumbest thing I've done all game. But again, what I was saying before is like when you're in the fight, play with what you have, don't go for new stuff. My teammate's about to die and he's like, I have 4 fish. And I was like, 4 fish? I'd love to have 4 fish for late game. Except they already have like 3 fish, so I don't need 4 more. Also, I've left myself giantly exposed if that person was decided to play aggressive and shoot me. But instead, mid-fight, try to get new stuff, and I pay for it. Like, I was at 190 to 30. Stupid drum gun. Now I'm in this like really awkward elevated space where I don't know how like if the floor is gonna build, or the wall's gonna build. That's my favorite part, is I went to shoot the drum gun and it wasn't reloaded. Like the use of the cone jump, missed it, but right move. So the reason I wanted to pause it here for a second is I was at 190 to 30. We are now at 120 to 100. And the only reason why that happened was because I went for stuff that I didn't need. So like if there's one thing to take away from the video is fight the fight with the weapons you have. Like don't try to get new stuff. Like here, I end up kind of proving that you can win a fight, specifically attack 50-50 without aim assist, regardless of what all the keyboard and mouse people will say, or mouse and keyboard people will say. But there's really no reason for me to ever have gotten in this position. Like I could have got him there earlier with the ramp if I kept tight, if I didn't fall, and I could have ended the fight probably pretty quickly if I would have just kept pressure instead of trying to pick up the drum gun for like the 15th time. Like I had to use an extra 50 fish. Like just that's the one thing you can do. Like fight the fights with the weapons and the heals that you have. Like don't try to get new stuff until it's over. But that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's got its second in the series. Try to figure out how we can do more, get a little bit better. But if you enjoyed it, like the video, click subscribe, notifications, something dark side. If anything, just thanks for watching. Bye.